The MCU Spider-Man has not always received their fair share of love as they should have. Homecoming was an ingenious film with a simple story and a competent villain. Far From Home was a little bit worse, but still on the higher end of the spectrum. And now we have No Way Home, one of the most loved movies in recent years, and it is the movie to conclude all Spider-Man movies so far. No Way Home scored all kinds of box office records, making it the most profitable movie of the year 2021, and also being the third highest grossing superhero film ever, making Shang-Chi's box office triumph look like a walk in the park. The movie brings nostalgia to all Spider-Man fans. Whether you're a Tobey Maguire fan, an Andrew Garfield fan, or a Tom Holland fan, you are most likely guaranteed to be satisfied. But what lies behind the nostalgia is actually many issues of world building, plot contrivances, and character holes. Now before I continue, this is your spoilers warning, so you do you. Now before you start flooding into the comments and calling me a hater, I love the movie. I didn't exactly have high expectations going into the theater because of the incompetence of previous Marvel movies like Black Widow and The Eternals, but to have gotten what we have here was way beyond my expectation. I love most of the villains and the Spider-Mans. Spider-Mans? Spider-Man? Spiders? Spideys? Well, whatever the plural of that is. Doc Ock and Green Goblin stole the movie for me, and I would honestly put Green Goblin as the best superhero villain in cinema, especially with Willem Dafoe's astounding performance. Now, if you have calmed down from me saying that the movie isn't flawless, hear me out. One major character I had issues with is in fact Doctor Strange, and I'm pretty sure most of you do too. The writing of the character was so incompetent that many people would rather believe he is secretly Mephisto, the literal devil of the MCU. I can almost go off on an infinite tangent on Doctor Strange, like why didn't he inform Peter what the spell would do? How did Doctor Strange lose so easily in his own realm? Yeah, I know the movie told us the maths thing, but that by itself isn't going to convince me. We were never told that Peter is good at geometry. The throwaway line did successfully serve its function, but considering the results of the line, it is a bit worse than you think. Peter incapacitated Strange for hours because he knows geometry better, allowing the entire plot to take place. Okay movie, however, this isn't exactly the topic that I wish to explore with you guys. Again, I can also go off on another near infinite tangent on smaller things, but these ones are little less important, so I'm gonna speedrun them. Ready? Here we go. How was the entire city on Spider-Man in the beginning? These people all have nothing to do? As much as I love to see Daredevil in the MCU, him showing up and absolving every charge Peter was accused of because he is a really good lawyer isn't exactly the best way to do it. We should have gotten a court scene. So now we know that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme. Was Agatha talking about Wong or Doctor Strange? And we also know there's a spell to make people forget things, so why didn't Strange just make everyone in the universe forget about the Infinity Stones? Guess we'll never find out. How does Doc Ock know Green Goblin is Norman Osborn? Peter Parker made a promise to Norman not to tell Harry, therefore he should not have told anyone. Two of the villains being here also makes no sense. Both Sandman and Electro do not know the true identity of Spider-Man in their respective universe. Why would Ned's portal default to the other Peters? How come Ned closed both of the portals early, but struggles to close the one later? Why would Sandman physically take the side of the villains after Electro has told him he does not intend to go back? Sandman's only goal is to go back to his daughter, and Electro is directly opposing his goal. Phew. Alright, now that the small criticisms are over, here are my biggest criticisms of the movie. And it is what we have and will miss from the MCU Spider-Man. Up to this point, most fans have assumed Uncle Ben of the universe has died and has already given the responsibility speech to Peter. But as we are shown in this movie, the speech didn't happen until now with Aunt May. While we're here, Aunt May's death is also not as impactful to Spider-Man's character as the death of Uncle Ben in the first Spider-Man movie. Uncle Ben died due to something unethical or even malicious Peter did, and it taught Peter to be responsible with his powers, as Peter's actions indirectly caused the death of Ben. In this movie, Peter's actions did in fact cause the death of May, but Peter's intentions were to do good and he was punished for it. So, like I said, not the same. Having the villains of the other Spider-Man movies in this one ensures that we will never see an adaptation of these villains in the MCU proper, which is somewhat regretful. For at least 10 years, we won't be seeing a Green Goblin or a Doc Ock for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And these are classic Spider-Man villains. Well, I'm not saying it's not possible, it's just not what the fans would want. The image of Doc Ock and Green Goblin are solidified with Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe. The producers would not dare to recast the characters in the next, I would say, about 3 movies? This movie gave many characters redemptions and faithful portrayals, like with Electro and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. His Spider-Man got one of the best payoffs of all of cinema. But because of this, we will never get to see what would happen to Tom Holland's Spider-Man when his MJ dies from falling. Hey, don't get me wrong, I am completely okay with this, as I don't wish for the MCU Spider-Man to become grimdark. Buzz off, Snyder fans. My last issue with the movie is the final spell, when Peter tells Strange to make everyone forget him. Because the spell itself is already packed with issues, it also carries the issues to the end. The movie vaguely tells us that everyone has forgotten who Peter Parker is, so does it mean that it removes all the video and textual evidence of Peter Parker being Spider-Man? If so, does it also remove his legal documents as well, just like he has never existed? That will cause many issues for Peter, and none of them were explained in this movie, and I highly doubt they will explain in a later one. Personally, I didn't take many issues with this because of the direction they are taking us with Spider-Man. It's just some food for thought. Well, that's enough bashing of the movie. Now I'm gonna show you my favorite parts of the movie.
Norman? Norman's on sabbatical, honey.
Your weakness, Peter, is morality. It's choking you. Can't you feel it?
Otto. Well, it's good to see you, dear boy. It's good to see you.
Oh, and one more thing I want to share with you is kind of an Easter egg, I think, is that during the final fight between Green Goblin and Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man posed a John Walker on Green Goblin, and he was literally on top of a huge Captain America shield. Maybe this was intentional, maybe not. But here it is. No matter how much I like the movie, the issues are still there, and this movie is definitely not the best written Spider-Man movie of the MCU. That belongs to Homecoming. I know a lot of you didn't like that movie, but please give it another chance. But overall, this movie is above average and relatively well made, so well done, Sony. Hello there people, this is Guai and thank you for watching to the end. This video started from an idea I had while watching the movie and is a side project while I continue to work on a Shang-Chi Part 2 video. That video is taking way longer than I expected, and don't take this video too seriously as this video isn't exactly well researched, but you are welcome to disagree with me anytime and let me know in the comments. I would say expect more random videos along the way until I release the Shang-Chi video sometimes in the future, and I will see you guys soon.